All right, does everybody have a hard drive? Everybody has a MacBook Pro? Hey, that guy's tacky. Let's all look at him. It's tacky day today at Liberty. There's 3 handouts back there that you will need today. If you didn't grab those, go and grab them and make sure you sign in. The STIPD number is 396. So it's MCSPD-396, and I emailed that to you guys today. So go ahead and sign in, and we'll get you like a bulk 8 hours of credit for doing this. Even if you miss 1 or 2, you'll still get the 8 hours of credit. So there's no way for me to call a training from 4 to 6 in the afternoons for all of you and expect you all to be here. I fully expected some people to miss today, and I fully expect for some of you to miss in the future. That's totally okay. I really want you to want to come, and so I'm sure I'll see most of you. We'll do 4 of these. This is the first one. Today is going to be pretty generic, so but we got to get over the hump before we can get to the cool stuff. So let's talk very briefly about why you have a hard drive. And I'm mic'd up and I'm filming myself right now because I want to put it up for other people to reference that missed today, and I'll do that for you if you miss in the future. So the hard drive is an absolute necessity. Your built-in hard drive on your MacBook Pro is 256 gigabytes. If you take all of the music and all of the photos and all the videos that you do for yourself or for your classroom or for your family and put it all in there, that leaves maybe 100 gigabytes worth of space for video. To give you an idea, since the beginning of the summer, I've put out maybe 13 or 14 videos, and I've filled up a 1 terabyte drive about 5 times. So, I mean, it happens really quickly. HD video is gigantic data. So, and pretty much everything that you shoot with nowadays is shooting HD video. There's a way to make that smaller, but you kind of don't want to because you want it to be high quality. You want it to be that giant file size so that it looks and sounds good. Are you doing that for me? That's awesome. Thank you. So first of all, let me just say thank you for coming on a Monday when it's raining. I just want to watch House of Cards, and I probably will when I get home with like a blanket and some tea. But for now, we're going to try to learn as much as we can. I hope you guys had a good school day and all that stuff. So the handouts that you've got, and just so you know, anytime you see the cute little cartoons today, that's from my partner, Natalia, who's an elementary specialist. She made this Mac shortcuts for you guys. This is just handy stuff that you'll need to know for the Mac in general. I use pretty much all of these on a daily basis, and they allow me to fly around my Mac. I can just fly through stuff. And shortcut keys, typically I have my left hand doing shortcut keys, and my right hand is either on a mouse or on the trackpad, and I can make decisions and move really fast. So I highly recommend that you get used to those. Raise your hand if you are a native Mac user, like you've been using a Mac for quite some time. Okay, cool. I hope that you're sitting kind of close to somebody who maybe isn't a native Mac user, because they're probably going to need your help. I'm going to try to move fast today, because I know we all want to get out before 6, and so I'm going to fly through this today. If you have any questions, raise your hand, or maybe if you know the person next to you is a more adept Mac user, just ask them. And then you've got this sheet, Final Cut Pro X. That's what FCPX is. That's Final Cut Pro 10 Basic Concepts. I left space beside each one because you probably will want to write some notes throughout the day. So that's what that's for. And that's going to guide our learning in the second half. And then you got this last one, which is Final Cut Pro 10 Basic Shortcut Keys. And there's probably misspellings on this. I made it really fast. So hopefully I didn't misspell the actual key that you have to hit. I left you some extra lines on this guy because as we go, there's no way I thought of all of them. But these are the basic ones I use all the time. If I think of any other ones, or if anybody has already discovered another one that's really handy, you can just add them in on those lines. And if you need pens or pencils, I got some right here. I'm Daniel Witt, by the way. I know a lot of you, but I don't know all of you. Nice to see you all today. Thanks for coming. Natalia is going to come in a little bit, and she may take over part of this. Here's what we're going to do today. First, we're going to talk for like 5 minutes about why video. Then we're going to switch over to just looking at your new MacBook Pro, trying to learn how to navigate it, learning how to, like, you guys should be kind of the power users in your building. And so we're going to go like a little, today we're going to keep it kind of light, but throughout the next 4 training days, you're going to get pretty sophisticated on a Mac, just in general. So this will help your usage in the classroom as much as it will in editing video. And the last thing we're going to do is spend the last however long, maybe hour, on Final Cut Pro. So first, let's talk about video. Obviously, I do video, but it's not why I'm pushing video so hard in schools. It's not just because I can do it. I mean, I can also do math, and I'm not fixated on that right now. What is it about video? Why video? Why did you want this package? A lot of you wrote really cool proposals for it. Why use video? It's universal. Perfect. It is universal, especially if it's on YouTube, which is now unblocked, which took 5 years, give or take. 6 years, almost. What else? Why else? Yeah.
I work with the hearing impaired students, and so I have a lot of low verbal, nonverbal.
Yeah.
I really felt like video was a great way for them to be expressive themselves in addition to me using it as a teaching.
Absolutely, absolutely. Accessibility, students with special needs, etc. Video is really clutch for that kind of stuff. What else? Yeah, Clint. Yeah. 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 Agreed. I think that video is important for a lot of reasons. There's been a giant push to democratize video for the last decade. YouTube has been at the forefront of that progress. Video has become so democratized that my now 5-year-old a year ago made a video and put it on YouTube without my knowledge. Like, that's how good he is at it. He also has a Gmail account, which was pre-programmed into his iPad. And that gave him a YouTube account, and he just went to his camera roll, shared it to the thing, and it went, you know, so then he had a YouTube video up. So, I mean, that's how kind of easy it can be, especially when you're not on the school network. It's super easy, right? But being easy is not enough. I know that if I email you guys a long list of stuff or some directions or something, the odds of you reading the whole thing are really slim, because I'm a teacher too, and I know exactly what that's like. And the odds of me honestly sending you a link to a video, the odds of you watching it are pretty slim unless it's super applicable. You know, if you're looking for how to use the new Google Classroom plugin in Chrome, which I sent out maybe a week ago, then that video will show you how to do it, and you'll actually check it out, especially if it's like 5 minutes or less. If it's over 5 minutes, which that one shouldn't have been but was, you know, you're liable to check out. Kids are that times 100. They are willing to watch video. They really are. So if we can in some way get their learning onto the screen, or part of their learning onto the screen, that's a giant bonus. Totally not required. I've never flipped my classroom, for the record. It's not something I've ever done, but I'm in full support of it. It just didn't make sense for what I was doing. For me, video is the most powerful means of mass communication available today. That's my opinion. And it's not what we're doing today. The learning that you're going to do with Final Cut should apply to you in whatever way you think it applies to you. I am in no way telling you what to do with this device and this software and this knowledge. Like, the reason that you got it is because you already have ideas, and you're going to come up with even more when you figure out what you can do with it. You may choose to do something that I would have never thought of. In fact, I know you will. You'll choose to do something with this that I would have never thought of. So that's what this is all about. How can you use video? Why should you use video? And if you're using it just because you think you're supposed to, then you probably already lost. You know, it's kind of like the way I feel about technology integration in general. If you're using it just to be using it, then stop using it. And a lot of days, as techie as I am, I was all paper and pen or a whiteboard. So When can you use it? How often are you going to use it? I don't know. You might make one movie all year. That's fine. Nobody's auditing your use of this new computer and this new program. Nobody's checking up on you to check to see if you're actually making movies. That's not what this is about. This is about equipping you with a really powerful way to communicate with parents, each other, kids, etc., the world. So let's just get rolling real quick. We're going to jump over to Natalia made this to teach elementary teachers about their new Mac, and I've taken some slides out and added a few things in. So let's check it out real fast. I don't want to go too slow because I know a lot of you are brand new, but I don't want to go too fast because a lot of you will check out because you already use Macs. But you know about the Apple menu at the top left, right? The Apple menu at the top left is essentially going to get you to logging in, logging out, shutting down, restarting, etc., but it's also going to get you to system preferences and some other things. System preferences is essentially the control panel of the Mac. So when I click the Apple, I have system preferences here, and there's also the App Store, which you can get from the Launchpad. In system preferences, I have pretty much everything I would have ever expected to be in control panel on a PC. I don't really want to dive much deeper into this for you guys. You just need to check it out. Some stuff you can change, some stuff you can't change without an administrative password. I'm kind of working on that too. So if you ever need something though, just shoot me an email. I'll come do what you need. So that's the system preferences. The trackpad. So part of sort of the heart of the Mac experience is the trackpad. A lot of people who edit video choose to use like a Bluetooth mouse or something. Totally not required. I've gotten really handy at editing, like super microscopically with the trackpad, just because I was forced to do it. And you probably will too. But a mouse can make editing video easier because it's a very precise sort of skill. So on the trackpad, you've got a variety of things, and I'm just going to say them as if you don't know them. If you click on something with 2 fingers, it's a right click. Alternatively, I could hold control with my left hand and then click once. So it's control click. Back in the day, Macs didn't have a right click at all, so you would control click on things or option click on things. And you could still do that, but a 2-finger click is a right click. You can swipe up and down with 2 fingers to navigate up and down, or left and right. In Final Cut, you're going to love that, because on the project timeline, you're going to have to swipe up, down, left, and right so that you can see the thing that is important to you at that time. So it's really important that you get that. There are some other things that you can do with the trackpad. Has anybody, I'm sure some of you use this guy. Let me hop out of full screen mode. If I do 4 fingers up, it's going to take me to this thing, which is, what's the name of this? You guys know what that's called? Mission Control. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, Mission Control. This gives you all open windows on your system, and it divides it up by app. So you can jump to any window that's currently running. Macs are designed a little bit differently than PCs in that, in my opinion, they're a little bit more capable of multitasking, or a little bit more friendly when multitasking. So when you're inside of an app, you can hit Command tilde, and it will toggle between open windows inside that app. Tilde is the little, this little guy, the little curly, like the approximate sign. So let me just give you an example of that. So if I open up a bunch of Finder windows, and I'm hitting Command N to open those up, if I hit Command tilde, it's going to toggle between all of the windows that are open inside Safari. This is really handy. And if I just go down one button with my middle finger to Tab, now I'm toggling between open applications. So I can jump to Final Cut, do some editing, jump back to Safari, toggle to a window, and present, and then toggle right back to Final Cut. All I'm doing is just using my left hand. So Command Tab, and it's all on that sheet. I think Command tilde should be on that sheet. If it's not, you might want to write it in. Command Tab is going to allow you to multitask between apps. Can you guys see the screens okay? Okay. All right. There are other things you can do with the trackpad. One of my favorite things is take your fingers like this and put them all on the trackpad and then open. It's going to blast everything out of the way, show it revealing your desktop. Now to get it back, pinch it back in. So that's a really cool way to access your desktop. I can't remember how you do that on a PC, but I know you can. Maybe it's Windows D for desktop or something. So that's pretty much all we'll do on the trackpad for now. Does anybody else have anything on the trackpad that I've missed? That you know about it that I don't? All right, cool. Finder. The Finder is essentially my computer. It's your file system manager, right? So let's all click on the Finder down in the dock. And it should open a Finder window. Now if I hit Command N, I'll get a new Finder window. If I hit Command W, it will close whatever window is on top. Cool? It's important to know Command N in the Finder because let's say I wanted to get this file, lesson 5 reflection activity, into some other folder, but I don't know where that folder is. I'll Command N, open a new window, and then go find that folder. There it is. And so then I'll take it and I'll drag it to that folder. So two-window system in Finder is a pretty cool way to go. So that's what Finder is. If you look at your Finder window, you're liable to not have some of these items. Being a content creator, you're going to need all of those guys. So let's get those going. All you need to do at the top left, beside the Apple logo, it should say Finder in bold. If it doesn't, Command Tab over to Finder until it does. Now you're going to click on Finder in bold and choose Preferences. And then go to your Sidebar tab. Notice some of you don't have all these checked. You're going to definitely want pictures, music, and movies there. And then, honestly, you probably want all of those things. I would add them all. And you'll see why as we go through this. Yeah, sure. So at the top, the Finder in bold, if I click on it and choose Preferences. And then I'm going to go to my sidebar pane right here, the third one over, and just check all those boxes at the top for your favorites. Why is my what? Oh, I could check it. It's okay, yeah. I just have learned to do it without. You can leave it, you can check it. I would check it if I were you, just so you know what it is and get the hang of it. The only reason I've done that is because I can get to anything else without using that with these options. The bonjour thing, where is that? Oh, bonjour is a protocol that allows multiple devices to talk to each other. So Apple TV is a bonjour device, and it doesn't play very well with our network, as many of you Apple TV owners I'm sure have learned. It sometimes does and sometimes doesn't, right? So it's because it's a bonjour protocol, and that doesn't work well with our network. And that's as far as my knowledge goes with that. So there's that. Okay. So that's Finder in a nutshell. We've already done this. Customize our sidebar. Spotlight. This is really cool. We should all know how to do this. So from any window, doesn't matter what app you're running, if you hit Command Space, you're going to bring up your Spotlight search. Spotlight search allows you to do pretty much anything you want, find anything you want. You can find a file or folder on your computer just like searching on a PC, but you can also like define a word. So like if I want to know what the word carrion means, I type in carrion, and then here it gives me the definition, and I don't need web access, internet access to get this. So I can go down and click on carrion and see the definition. Or if I double click it, it's going to bring it up and I can do synonyms, which there are none, Wikipedia, etc., which obviously will need an internet connection. But if I want to Command Space and search for that Excel spreadsheet that I was working on the other day for inventory, I type in inventory, and it gives me any time it's ever been mentioned on my hard drive. So that's Spotlight. Now to get rid of it, Command Space again, and it'll go away. Alternatively, you could click at the very top right of your screen on the magnifying glass, and it's the same thing. Cool? All right. Connecting to Wi-Fi. Have you guys noticed that your MacBook Pros are jumping to the OI network? It's a giant hassle, and it was not supposed to be that way. So we sent an image off, and then a third-party company imaged all these machines and sent them back or whatever, and it's not quite how we intended for it to be. So for now, just going to have to keep on jumping back to MacBook 169. Eventually, we'll figure out a fix, and we'll push it out to your machines, but it'll probably be a while, a few weeks at least. So just keep that in mind. To jump to a different Wi-Fi network, I'm sure you've all figured it out, but it's at the top. Click on it, and just click on the one that you want. I'm on MCSOI right now just because I'm presenting from my personal computer. All right. Your dock. Down here at the very bottom of your screen is your dock. I have a lot of apps in my dock. I don't really use my dock as often as you might think, even though I have all these apps down there, and I'll tell you why. I've just kind of grown accustomed to this. If I hit Command Space and I want to open up Final Cut, I just type FINA, and it knows that I want Final Cut, and I hit Return. And when I do that, it opens Final Cut for me. So you can launch apps from Spotlight as well, and I do that a lot. But you may have noticed that some of the apps that you're looking for aren't in your dock. That's just simply because they are there. They're just in Launchpad. So if I go to my Launchpad, which is the little silver rocket thing, I can two-finger swipe through pages of apps, just like on an iPad. And if I find one that I want, I just click and hold and drag it and let it go in my dock, and now it's there forever. To get rid of it, I can two-finger click or right-click on it and choose options remove from dock, and it'll go away. So that's my dock. The last thing about the dock that you might want to consider is when you're using Final Cut Pro, you have a 13-inch screen. I've been editing on a 27-inch screen. It's a totally different experience, you know? If you plug this guy up to your TV, you will have that too, you know? Like, it'll work. But when you have a 13-inch screen, then screen real estate is really, really important. You got to maximize it. So what I've done is I've hidden my dock. So to do that, if you want to do it, it gives me more real estate to play with in Final Cut. Over here on the right of my dock, there's a little line right before you get to downloads and documents and stuff. You can right-click on that and turn hiding on. That way, it's out of the way unless you need it. If you need it, you just take your cursor down there and it'll pop up. For Final Cut Pro, I would recommend that pretty heavily. It gives you a solid like 5% more real estate to play with, which is kind of where a lot of buttons are and stuff. All right, any questions about the dock? Cool. You can also do all kinds of things, magnification and other stuff with your dock. Clint?
The left hootenanny on the screen,
Yeah.
how do you make that go away, or is that something installed by the city?
What left? Oh, that thing. That thing. Yeah. I didn't know that thing was going to be on there. I thought, let's have a look. Can I look at yours, Chris? I think I can get it to go away. Whoops, wrong button. I don't know how to get that hootenanny to go away, Clint. Okay. I know it's a little bit of a hassle. Let me look into that because I know that some of you want it to go away. What is that? Is that the Mimeo board software? Smartboard software? Raise your hand if you want to use that on a Mac. All right, so that's good. Okay. Noted. Trash. I'm just going to write down trash the hootenanny. Okay. I'll figure out how to do it, and then I'll send the fix out if you want to do it. I won't, like, force you to. How do you spell hootenanny? Hootenanny. Got it. Okay. Trash the left hootenanny. All right. Launchpad we already looked at. Applications. Your Launchpad is basically just a copy of your applications folder. But if you ever need to access your applications folder, you now have it in your Finder sidebar. So if I click Finder, here it is. Here is applications right there. That is all applications on your computer. Macs don't organize files and applications like a PC does. On a PC, you go to your C drive, there's the program files folder, and inside there is a folder for every application you have, and then there's an exe file that launches it or whatever. Mac is a package-oriented system. It's Unix-based for all you nerds out there. And so this Logic Pro 10 right here is the whole folder and everything represented in an icon. And it knows if you double-click it that you want to use it. It doesn't think you want to dig in and change stuff that you shouldn't mess with. If you ever need to dig in to something that's a package like that, you can right-click it and say Show Package Contents. Just like a PC, it does have folders inside of it. But it's organized and arranged and presented to you in such a way that just makes it look like a single icon. So it does have stuff inside of it. I wouldn't play around too much inside those package contents, though. It's cool, though, to note. Hey, Natalia, what's up? You've got the Mac shortcuts here. A lot of them are basically copies of what you're used to on a PC. There was some discussion at a library media specialist meeting last week or week before about mapping the control key to be command, which you can do. You can go into system preferences and change the assignment of a key. And a couple of people wanted to do that because they're so used to doing Control-C, Control-V. I highly recommend against that. Not because I want you to, give up your PC experience or whatever, but what's going to happen is when you get into Final Cut or some sophisticated software and there are shortcuts that the whole world uses and you're watching a YouTube video about how do I do this thing, they're going to say Command, Shift, Option, Plus. And then if you've remapped Command, then you have to rethink all of that. I would just learn the Mac environment is what I would do. It's just slightly different. What's up, Courtney?
Hey, to hide the thingy on the left, at the top of your toolbar, at the very top on your desktop, there's the little blue icon with a white circle. Click that, and then click Hide Floating Tools.
Nice.
And that will
Dynamite. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. You may leave now. Perfect. You fulfilled. Okay. So most of these you would probably know anyway. Screen capture. Let's all try this out. Anything on your screen, doesn't matter what. Hit Shift Command 3. When you hit Shift Command 3, it takes a full screen snapshot of anything that's on your computer, like everything. Doesn't matter what's there. And it puts it on your desktop. This is super cool compared to how Windows does it. On Windows, you hit the print screen, and then you have to go paste it somewhere, so you end up opening PowerPoint and wasting a bunch of steps. In this case, Shift Command 4, snapshot, it's on your desktop. Do whatever you want to with it then, but at least it exists, right? So speaking of that, everybody check this out. Up at the top right of my screen, this little icon, I could double-click that screenshot. When I double-click that screenshot, it's a PNG file, which is basically a JPEG. When I double-click it, it's going to open up in the Preview app, which takes some time and some resources. What if I don't want to open up any application at all? I just want to know what in the world is that thing on my desktop. Well, as long as it's selected, I can hit the space bar, and it's going to preview what it is, and then hit space bar again to get it to go away. It opened no application, it used no RAM, and it wasted none of your time, right? So that you can do that with anything. You can do that with a video, a Word document. You can do that with anything you want, right? So hitting the space bar on any file in the Finder is going to allow you to preview it. Just to show you some further evidence of that with a video, if I have one somewhere. I don't even know, oddly enough, that I have a video. I'm sure I do. Okay, Sal's eating a popsicle. There's a file. I hit spacebar. There it is. He's not eating a popsicle at all, is he? He's playing baseball. But now I hit spacebar again, and it's going to close it. Also, it's worth noting, and I'm sure a lot of you have figured this out, my files, I like list view most of the time. You know, just files on a line going down. I see all the details in columns. I like to operate that way because my computer gets really junky, and yours probably does too. But if, you know, and a lot of people say I don't like the Mac because it's just like this, which is a mess. Like, why would I want that all the time? And especially when you can like overlap them and stuff, it gets confusing. I just keep it in list view most of the time. But you can also do column view, which allows for better navigation. And you can do this cover flow view, which is really useful. If I'm searching for a particular movie, I can just put it on the cover flow view, and then I can toggle through and see what each file looks like, just like it was a jukebox. So there's that. All right. Now let's do one more. Shift Command 4. If you do Shift Command 4, now you can draw a box, and whenever you let go, it's going to take a snapshot of that box. So I just want this little purple guy right here. So I'm going to do a box around the purple guy. Boom. So now that's on my desktop also. That's going to come in really handy too. That to me is like what astounds me. I'm not going to trash talk Windows all day, but like, why have they not figured that out? You know, maybe it's there and I missed it, but the snipping tool, but you have to paste it somewhere? Yeah, that's the thing. You have to like have something to paste it into, and that's the thing that adds all the time. So, okay. Everybody got the hang of Shift Command 4? You're going to love that. Okay. Skip that. The printers on your Mac is coming this week. All right, I just talked to Gail Lavish. Yeah, it's big. Okay. You know that you have Microsoft Office on your machine, right? I would highly recommend using Outlook, the actual application, which is in your Launchpad. It allows you to do things that webmail won't do, so I would recommend it. It also maintains your folders if you're that organized, which I'm not. But using Outlook is good. You have Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Then you have the Mac version of those things. It used to be called the iWork suite. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. Those three applications are really great, and I use them pretty frequently, but I don't use them if I intend to do complex formatting and then send that file to someone who's a PC user. I typically use Office for that. If I make something in Pages, I can save it as a DOC file. So it's not like exclusive to only Mac. You can then forward that to somebody, and they can open it in Word on a PC. But if you have complex formatting, it's probably jacked up. So I tend to use Microsoft Office products, or honestly, I tend to use Google Docs.
Just a side note, for those of you who are not Mac users, Mac is so friendly on saving formats. Most everything in Windows, if you open it as docs, you're going to have to save it as docs. Mac allows you to convert it to Pages, to PDF. You can save web pages as PDF. You have a number of options to save your documents as.
Yep.
So that PC users can use it as well.
Yep. Okay. Has anybody gotten a phone call in here and it showed up on your Mac to answer the phone on your Mac? Yeah, a couple of you. Yeah. That's really cool. If you have an Apple ID and an iPhone, you can turn that on. It kind of drives me crazy, especially with the watch too now. When I get a phone call, it rings here, and on my phone, and it's like a cacophonous mess. So I don't highly recommend it, but it's pretty neat. You can FaceTime on your Mac. There's the iSight camera built in. It's HD, which is really cool. It looks good, sounds good. You can film yourself doing tutorials using the HD, the built-in camera, the iSight camera on your Mac. 5 things to try on your Mac. iMovie, you can mess with it. Final Cut's way cooler. I'd probably skip that one for you guys. QuickTime Player, screen recordings. Let's just quickly look at how to do this, because you're going to want to do this probably, especially if you're trying to show the people in your school how to do something that they all need to know how to do. You've seen me do this before. Anytime you see like the Mac environment on one of my training videos, this is how I did it. So I'm going to Command Space and type in QuickTime. And that's going to give me my QuickTime player. and just hit return. Or you can go to your Launchpad and find it. You're not going to need this initial window. Just hit done. So as long as it says QuickTime Player at the top left in bold, all you got to do is click on File, New Screen Recording. All right. It's using the microphone that's built into the Mac. And if I hit record, it says click to record the full screen or drag to record only part of the screen, just like a Shift Command 4 idea, right? So I want to do the full screen. I'm going to click once, and it's going to start recording. All right, it's recording right now, and it's recording my voice, and it's recording everything that I'm doing on my screen. So if I move this around, this video is being recorded. Now at the very top of my screen, right here, there's a stop button in a circle. I'm going to click that. Cool. Now I have a QuickTime video of everything that I just did. All right, it's recording right now. It's recording my voice, and it's recording everything that I'm doing on my screen. So if I move this around, this video is being recorded. Now at the very top of my screen, right here, there's a stop button. You get the idea, right? Now I can save that anywhere I want and do anything I want to with it. I can pull it into Final Cut, add some cool overlays and some text and send it out, or I can upload it to Google Drive, put it on YouTube just the way it is. I can do a lot of things with it, but at least I have it. So that is the screen recording feature of QuickTime. If you're a PC user using Windows 7, that does not exist inside Windows natively. You might have used Jing or something like that. If you've ever used Jing, you've probably noticed that the quality is really low and it's grainy. The quality of this, it's going to make a bigger file size, but who cares? You know, it's 2015. We can get it to each other. So it's going to record it in the native resolution of your screen. So if you have a 4K screen, it's going to record it at 4K. If you have a 1080p like high definition screen, which you do, it's going to record it in that resolution. So that's that. And now if I wanted to take this video, what did I do with it? Oh, this whole thing is the video. All right. It's weird because it looks exactly like my screen. Okay, so if I want to do something with it, I just go to File and Save, and it's going to ask me where do I want to save it. Throw it on my desktop, call it whatever I want. Now you have a QuickTime movie that can be read on a Windows machine or a Mac or uploaded to YouTube. So pretty powerful. Let me go ahead and quit this. Anybody have any questions about that? So in general, this is something that, I'll give you an example. One of your fellow content creator recipients emailed me today and said, you know what, thanks but no thanks, I want a Dell. And so, which is totally fine, you know, just wasn't her bag. But I think maybe, and then I talked to the tech at the school, and I think maybe some of what's happening is she's, as my hero Elon Musk would say, she's reasoning by metaphor, meaning she's thinking of the process she's accustomed to doing on a PC and trying to translate the process to the Mac. That's not going to work out a lot of times. If you just think about first principles, like what do I want to do? There's likely a way to do it on a Mac. It's just a different process. And sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, but it's a different process. So if you're trying to apply a process to the Mac, it may not work out for you. But if you're trying to achieve a result, it's possible. So it's a little frustrating, you know, and maybe a month from now you won't feel that way. It's all about practice and playing. Okay, cool. Quick reminder on SteelMine. If you go to youtube.com/ I think it's MCS SteelMine now. That's the quick way to do it. You might want to go there now and add it to your favorites.
You go to Google and type in MCS SteelMine. It's the first link that pops up.
Okay, cool. So if you create something, whether it's like a strategies video that you want to share with your fellow teachers, or if it's just a spotlight of some cool stuff that your kids are doing, or a slide, it doesn't matter what it is, and you want to share it, you can put it on your own YouTube channel. That's totally fine. You all have YouTube channels now, like natively, because we're a Google Apps for Education school system now. So you have that, and or you can put it on SteelMine. your media specialist at your school as well as your IP will have the login information for SteelMine, and they can do it. Or you can send me the link, and I'll put it on SteelMine. But that's the goal of SteelMine. The goal of SteelMine is to create a place for us to share our ideas with each other and with other people outside of our system. So if you go to playlists on SteelMine, you'll see lots of playlists, and a lot of people have missed these. This new MacBook training right here may be something you're interested in. This is a couple of videos that I made, but most of the videos are just videos I curated from YouTube that I watched and said, yes, this video is awesome. Mac tutorial for PC users, you know. So you might want to go check out the playlist for MacBook users. There's a lot of really good stuff there, and it gets really sophisticated. There's some iMovie stuff, there's advanced, there's Final Cut tutorial for beginners, there's lots of stuff. Okay.
MCS SteelMine altogether, one word.
MCS Steel, and it's a play on words, so it's steel like thievery, EA. And I have that one set to autoplay, obviously, that's fine. Okay. All right. So, now for the main event. I'm going to close some stuff. Check this out. I can't show you what I'm doing, but if you look at the screen, it'll make sense. If I'm holding Command and I hit Tab, let's say I wanted to quit iTunes. I can hit Tab until iTunes is selected, and then I can just move my finger over and hit the Q. I can quit programs from the multitask. So like hit Command Tab until you get to the thing you want to quit, and then just move your finger over and hit Q. As long as you're holding Command the whole time, it'll work. So I'll go ahead and quit Preview. And I never actually went to that program. I can quit it from the multitask pane in the middle of the screen. Really cool. All right, let's plug in our external hard drives. You have two cables with it. One of them is useless. And that is the FireWire cable. Can I see this one? Okay, you've got this guy that's got a rectangular end on it on both sides. This is FireWire 800, and it's pretty much a dead protocol, right? So you can take this, and you can just put it in your cabinet, or whatever you want to do. Okay. The other one is a USB 3.0 cable. If you don't know anything about USB 3.0, it is insanely fast. It's almost as fast as Thunderbolt, which is the fastest consumer protocol, and you have that also. So let's go ahead and plug up your USB cable to the hard drive, and then plug that thing into your computer. I don't have, well, I'll try one of these. Anybody else need a hard drive? Okay, I'm just going to get one for illustration purposes. What? Okay. All right. Everybody getting the hang of this thing? You plug it into the only thing it'll plug into, and then plug it into your, okay. Okay. On a Mac, when you plug in your hard drive on your Mac, it should reveal it on your desktop somewhere, and in this case, it'll be orange. Alternatively, if I go to any Finder window, it will now show up on the left under Devices here, Lacey Setup. That's the name of the drive right now. Go ahead, find the orange drive icon, and double-click it. You've got some stuff in here. I don't think we need any of this stuff. But let's leave it there for now. Let's rename your hard drive whatever you want it. Put your last name in it somewhere in the name. I name all my drives after candy, typically. So this one may be Butterfinger or something, just so I can remember what drive I put what on. But in your case, name it whatever you want. To rename it, you got a couple of options. The one that I would use is if I click a single time, see where my cursor is at the top right? If I click a single time on the text, it's going to allow me to edit this thing. So now I can call this Wits Jam and hit return. So now my hard drive is called Wits Jam. So let's rename your hard drive.
We're gonna go straight through, we're gonna give them a little break.
I'm just going to tell them if they need to get up and get a drink or go to the bathroom, just do it while we're moving.
Straight through and let them know that you're free to.
Yeah. Has everybody got their drive renamed? No? Some are not. You can't use it? Oh, weird.
Yeah, it said it was almost like too long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Weird. Too long? I think it may be the way the drive is formatted, because technically there's no real constraints on that on a Mac. We may want to run through this. Yeah. Let's do it. To rename your drive? If you double click. Okay, just for the setup app? Okay. All right, so for now we're going to leave it the way it is. As long as you get it renamed, that should be okay for today. All right, so here's the thing. I have in my backpack, I carry with me my MacBook, and I carry with me a couple of hard drives, the ones that I have my current projects on it. I don't have any important movies on my native hard drive of my Mac. That's because I edit on a variety of machines, and I don't want it clogging up my Mac. I want my Mac to stay running fast. To do that, I need to declutter it. So I keep all of my movies on my external drive, and then when my external hard drive starts to get full, I take it home and I dump it onto this giant drive at my house. And then I come back with a blank drive and I start again, right? So you want to try to get into that habit. If you needed to edit a video in a crunch on your hard drive on your Mac, that's totally fine. In fact, that's what I'm going to do today probably. But you don't want to get into the habit of doing that, because in 2 to 3 projects, you will fill up your hard drive and then you'll wish that you hadn't done that. The good news is it's really easy to move your entire Final Cut library to another drive. It's just like drag and drop one thing and it's done. All right, so does everybody have their hard drive plugged in and renamed? All right, let's launch Final Cut. Okay, if they're not showing up, get it to where it says Finder at the top left, and then hit Command comma. Make sure external disks and hard disks are checked right here.